have here is, sorry, my computer is not responding, but we have paper one, business management, May 26th, right? And we have our test coming up, 1 or 2 days, right? 1 day for most people. And we have our Abarca case study, right? ABC. And so I just have a bunch of questions for every topic, and we just want to go ahead and answer those as quickly as possible. I also have a bunch of notes for every topic. Yes, this is a lot, and it's all based on past papers. And so we're just going to go through and see how we can answer these. Okay. Public limited, publicly held company. Now, what is a publicly held company? Let's draw an arrow and let's write our definitions. Okay, what I want to do is do this. Publicly held company. Right? Now, let's do this. Okay. Okay, that didn't work. This is okay. Let's leave out the lines. Right, so what is a publicly held company? Let's write our definition. Business whose shares are sold on the stock exchange, right? So can be bought publicly. So can be bought or publicly traded, right? That's what we want to say. Sorry about that. Publicly traded. Okay, next one. We can talk about how it needs a privately held company to IPO. Needs to IPO, right? So as long as you show some understanding, you can talk about different features. You can talk about limited liability, right? That's why it's called an LLC, limited liability company. Liability. Next is the fact, this is probably a second most important point, has shareholders, right? Has many shareholders since it is publicly traded. And it is incorporated, right? Which means our ownership is separate from the legal identity of the company. So we can put that together here. So limited liability means incorporated company. That means separate legal identity. You can search that up. And has many shareholders. And since it's incorporated, the ownership, the shareholders are separated from the board of directors, is separated from BOD, which controls, right? BOD is what controls. So in fact, we should say ownership is separated from control via the BOD. Separated from control, and BOD is sort of the representative, right? Representatives. So represent the shareholders, we can say. And management. And they are the ones in control, right? They make the decisions and are in control of decision making. Right, that's clear. And okay, and this is, so both of these questions are within these annotations that I'm making, right? can be bought or publicly traded, and that means everyone can buy shares, right? Everyone can buy shares. That's a feature. Next is to sort of build on this point. Oops. Now limited liability. Put this in red. This means investors or shareholders, let's say, only accountable or liable, right? Personally liable for amount they initially invested. Invested initially, right? Now, because everyone can buy shares, they're publicly traded. Now, compared to private limited companies or even sole traders partnerships, we have a greater access to capital and finance, right? We can say greatest or greater. Sorry about this. Access to capital, finance, right? Greater. In terms of that, they usually get lower, interest rates at banks. They have share capital now, right? And just access to greater loan amounts, right? And that comes with our lower interest rates. Lower interest rates, that's one thing. Plus larger sums. And that comes with, economies of scale, right? That's financial economies of scales. Now, that answers most of the first two, right? We have two features and we define the term. We can also talk about some disadvantages, or you could say advantages for stakeholders. So high transparency with stakeholders, and that includes government, right? Includes customers, that includes the public in general. And that is because they have to disclose. Okay, disclose finances and accounting, right? Accounts, financials and accounts, we should say. Financials. And that is publicly, by the way, not just to the government, publicly. So that's available for public scrutiny, right? That can create some backlash, criticism. Then we also have the issue of losing control, possible takeover, right? So that's a disadvantage, right? Disadvantage. Disclose financials accounts publicly, again, disadvantage. High transparency, that's sort of related, but we'll leave that as just a point. Greater access to capital, that's good. And these are all just points, right? Limited liability is a good advantage, right? And so our definition is just this: shares are sold on the stock exchange, can be publicly traded. And then you can talk about features, right? And here's some additional things I wrote in my notes. Need to pay dividends to shareholders. They are influenced by the short-term objectives of investors and shareholders. Uh, Significant costs to IPOs. You have to do extensive paperwork. There's a lot of filings. Then you have to publicly disclose financials, which is what we talked about, right? Relinquish some control over the company. If you're selling shares, you That means shareholders also have a say in major decisions. So the founding team cannot just say, I want to do this and then get it done with, right? Takes a lot more time as well. So time consuming decision making. There's a risk of takeover. That's part of this control aspect, which I wrote down earlier. Increased reporting and accounting. That is same as this, but sort of also includes sustainability reporting. We have ESG now, right? So these are sort of linked, both of these. Can sell shares to general public. That is the main definition, right? Part of the main definition. Now, next is we want to talk about the okay, we did that. Next is describe the purpose of a mission statement. Now, I think I have that somewhere here. Somewhere in this big pile of everything. Mission statements. Okay, maybe not here, but in fact, I just found it. We covered it in our November 25 TZ1, and I covered this exact question. State two purposes of a mission statement. So it's unlikely to come up in the November in our May 26 paper, but they might have a defined mission statement or vision statement, right? So revise that as well. So mission statement is a declaration of purpose, right? Purpose. And it's short to midterm, unlike a vision statement, which is very long term, right? It's aspirational. It's updated frequently, compared to a vision statement that should be rather constant, right? And the same for at least 1 year, 2 years, maybe. Uh, then we have targets and objectives, and that leads to tactics that we want to achieve. And it's a current day-to-day guideline, so it helps uh, motivate employees. And not sure if I have the definition elsewhere. Yes, right here we have mission statement purpose, motivate employees, giving a sense of hope. So this is sense of purpose, sorry. So motivate employees, that is number one purpose. Uh, it serves as a guideline for day-to-day business operations, which is what we just mentioned. Operations state focused on our mission objectives, right? And objectives is the key word. Next is our decision making becomes more focused, right? Now we can make maybe faster, more um, decisive decisions, right? We can be more decisive because we know what our mission is. So it gives us clarity, right? More focused decision making. Does it align with the mission? Exactly. Next is lists our goals, objectives, and short midterm overarching aims. Okay. And after that, we would be talking about the fact that we're giving information about our business to stakeholders like investors, customers, suppliers, and that gives them something to invest in, right? They're invested in our company because we are sustainable, because we um, promise to make affordable, environmentally friendly products, or we promise to recycle. So we're giving information about our business, and we're saying we want to recycle maybe we want to reduce 50% of plastics in our country, and that's our mission for this year or the next 3 years, right? So we're giving information about our business to any sort of stakeholders, right? And that makes it easier for them to invest, easier for them to buy and purchase into something that they're aligned with in terms of values. Suppliers, same, they know what they're getting into. Are you reliable? Do you align with their missions because they also have stakeholders? And so goals, objectives, short, midterm, overarching aims. Okay, I think that is pretty clear. And we can move on to our next question, and that is purpose of a vision statement. And that's exactly what we're talking about, right? We had mission statement, now we have vision statement. So let's talk about the differences. If I can move this page. Yep, sorry about my sort of network and stability. So this is our mission statement, and let's just have our vision statement right next to it in comparison. So our vision is right above, right? That's our next step, or sort of, or if we take a top-down approach, we want our mission to sort of help us work towards our vision, right? Our vision is long-term, aspirational. It is sort of the light at the end of the tunnel. What do we want at the end? And so let's go to vision. What is the purpose of a vision statement? Now let's do the opposite of this, right? And it still motivates employees, right? So we can still say that, right? Still motivate employees and give a sense of purpose. But what we can say is it describes, right? We first give a definition because we don't know. We might get a definition question, we might get a describe question, we might get state two features question, right? So always write the definition, then do the features. It describes ABCs, let's say. So we can talk about ABC, right? But this should be general to any business. Describes ABC's long-term, let me just write LT ambitions, long-term ambition, and it's sort of an aspirational thing, right? What do we want to become as opposed to what are we doing now, right? What do we want to do? So we can say aspirational, right? And that is what to become in the future, right? We want to be the largest, let's say, e-waste producer, right? To become in future. Okay. Now, next. It's not very day to day anymore, right? It's more long term. So very long term focus. So not frequently updated. That's another feature. Not frequently updated. Okay. What else? Decision making can be more focused, that so that all can still be applied to this. The thing is, it just does not specify actual targets, right? Or sort of short-term objective. So does not specify actual targets that we have for the short term, right? Targets are like we want to maybe expand in this market, we want to conduct market research on this market, right? Actual targets to achieve. And so instead of every day to day in the present, it's a long term focus on the future, right? Future. Now so this is part of our definition and features, right? We could get state, okay, right? So features and the definition. Now these purposes can be very much added here as well to vision statement, except for this day-to-day operations, right? That is for our mission statement. The rest is still valid. Sense of purpose, motivating employees, uh, gives information about business to stakeholders. That is still very relevant. So it's essentially signaling the future, the direction that this business is going to, uh, for investors that want to invest. So still very relevant there. And decision making can be more focused. That is sort of also valid, but that's again mostly focused on the mission statement. All right. Now, let's see what's next. 2 external stakeholders. We have 15. How about we divide this video up so it's easier for you guys to digest? Let me shorten this. Oops, where am I going? Yeah, and I'll just try to go through these faster so we can get a bit of quick revision, and of course speed up the videos. I know you guys are revising for your finals. Thanks guys, have a great week. Good best of luck for your exams, and do drop a like and subscribe if this does help. See you guys.